These are the most overpowered midfielders in FIFA 22. Beautiful people, what's happening? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're new around these parts or you need that re-up, it is free to subscribe. I'm happy to have you here. Today we're going to focus on overpowered central midfielders. If you want more of these videos ASAP, please drop a thumbs up. High key appreciated. Feed the algorithm. Criteria: we're looking at center attacking mids, center mids, and holding mids as default positions. Overperformer equals overpowered. Max 83 overall rating, and then no repeat selections. And I think the big takeaway, and I'm sure you're gonna let me know in the comments, there's so much debate. These players, specifically in FIFA 22, are typically where you're saving money, saving coinage. You need someone who's gonna perform, get you ready for the weekend, not be a liability, not hurt your pockets. Because you don't have heavy pockets. They're kind of light. That will be the trend. I got 10 names. I'm sure that you're familiar with many of these players. There is a ton of interchangeability, in my opinion. Very small margins. I guess that's a disclaimer. I'm leading off with that. Without further ado, Paulinho might be a controversial choice for some. I was linking him with Talisca right off the ripperoo. When the game came out, you had that strong link. You needed that, had to have it. If you're doing a lot with the dabble, we're talking Brazilians, you're making trips, going to Sao Paulo, Little Rio is on the horizon. I can keep naming Brazilian cities. I don't think that's going to change a ton, but I've always enjoyed Paulinho. I feel that he fits into meta or overpowered categorization in terms of his output. And then, of course, from a price point, you're getting a steal. That should be the trend, the theme, the narrative of this video. The next couple guys, I'm actually going to link them together because they're very close in statistics and also what you can look for in terms of a return of investment. And at least with Fofana's case, you already have a bigger upgrade that has been showcased, SBC, but also costs more than 10 times the price or somewhere around that area. So it doesn't necessarily measure one-to-one. But you have Tchouaméni and Fofana, similar box-to-box or holding midfielders. I put them side to side so you don't have to. If you're looking at total stats and in-game statistical allocation, it's very close. There's not a lot of separation, and this is where it really just comes down to personal preference. On paper, you can say that Fofana's a little bit quicker. In game, maybe I would beg to differ. I've used these men, I've gone up against them. Both come in with that overpowered stamp of approval. There's no denying it, and it does come down to personal preference and perhaps what you need. And I've even seen them used together this year with plenty of effectiveness in the midfield if you're going for more of a holding midfield or more of a defensive-oriented midfield, as opposed to needing true box-to-box or guys that are offensively gifted. That would be my disclaimer. Neither of these gentlemen are going to be goal-scoring threats or have regularity with offensive control or expression in that final third. Can they progress in attack? For sure. But if you want to maximize the statistical allocation that they've been gift wrapped, don't even get me started. As we get closer to Christmas references, it's going to get out of control. Do not expect goal-scoring threat regular basis. I think you already knew that. Fred, are you balling on a budget? People have said it's the cheap Brazilian Conte. There's a lot of similarities. I'm not here to sell a different picture or to paint, I suppose, a different picture as the artiste, formerly known as Dirty Mike, but now has cleaned up his act. For years, we've been working on that progression. Fred with the lateral, I'm not talking about American football, pretty spectacular. And to go with having the skill moves and the small touches, the details, the particulars, he notices everything. And he gives you a little more balance than some of the players on this list. I wouldn't expect Fred to get busy in a 1v1 scenario. But with the quick footwork, he'll walk it around the goalkeeper and he gets himself into attacking areas while then still having the ability to chase back, to be a nuisance, to make interceptions. And as with all of these players, if the rest of your team is potentially expensive and this is where you made more of a value investment, you're getting a great return. Valverde, I believe many of you will have him higher. I just didn't love him. I liked him, I respected him, I appreciate him, I understand where the hype is. I get it completely. But I also felt that he was sort of clunky. He had good straight edge speed, but he did not have the ability to turn someone, and I wasn't scoring goals. And even on the defensive end, at times I could have asked for more. So maybe my expectation was too high, because when you're looking at stats, you're reading them off, you say this has to be one of the most overpowered midfielders, if not based on the criteria, at least that I've laid out. When we're looking at rating and positioning and so forth, you can link them up. You're still gonna see them every single weekend. People are believers. I didn't say believers or Valvertiers. I'll stop there. This is where I have them positioned, but I understand if you have them higher on your list. Elan. Maybe more of the Brazilian and Everton bias. Maybe it's the proof in the pudding or the proof of concept. Decent FIFA success. Having those skill moves makes offense so much easier because most of these players aren't going to give you the complete package. Whether they're losing out a little bit with pace or they're not going to be able to finish a 1v1 at the same level as a more expensive counterpart, or you're missing the skills or the body type's not perfect. There's typically some sort of give and take or take and give. You don't get it all. Is the point that I'm making. You get some boosted numbers in the right places, which helps them overachieve, makes them relevant or prevalent for long-term factors. And this video is going to be super helpful for you guys that don't grind the game, because many of you watching aren't necessarily able to build your ultimate team, at least not right now. Some of you that will watch this video will have just got the game for Christmas. I'm calling it right now, early edition, or in that case, late to the party. Zacharia with the inform. And I might have the bias that I've always enjoyed using them. Not everyone has been able to have that correspondence, that type of relationship. We've already seen an inform. We got a rule breaker. He's got that big body type, but he hasn't lost the ability to turn. He's not clunky, so to speak. Same as stated with many of these players. Is he going to be some goal scoring weapon, some sort of offensive attacking mastermind with pinpoint accuracy and the ability to penetrate from anywhere? No, but he's not in the team to do that. Let him sit deep, be that ultimate stopper, get you someone who's 6'3", 6'4", clear presence, intimidating, brawly. Kudos. And a bit of a mixed opinion here, because when it comes down to rule breakers in general, if I was going to look at the overview, I wasn't that impressed. However, with the current criteria, and you're looking at the agility and the side to side and the dribbling and having the skill moves, even the passing or the physicality, this foot item starts looking a lot more attractive. You say, I can make this work. Often seen as a super sub just from a linkage perspective being a little more complicated or complex. You'd have to shift your team to get him in. But as stated, it might not be a dream if I was just looking at rule breakers, because there's so many options that are higher rated and much more expensive, and they fit meta-wise a little bit easier on the eyes in terms of FIFA 22 goodness. But here, the man is good money at a discard price point. Renato Sanchez, what can't he do? I still see him every weekend. Maybe you spent the money on Neymar or Mbappe, but you got to save somewhere else. Renato is legit. There's no denying. You know the drill if you see this man in your opposition starting 11. You got the pace, you have the dribbling, you've got the skill moves, the weak foot, the physicality. He's never going to get tired. The body type always works well in FIFA for this box-to-box role. The defending numbers are still good enough. Plus, he just has these overpowered touches. Even his passing, you're going to be impressed. I don't think you're necessarily going to score a bunch of goals with him, but that's not a big deal. He's not really in the team for that. However, because his footwork is eligible, it's at a certain tier or a certain standard, you can still walk it around the keeper or do a skill move and convert an opportunity. Drum roll! Top in the charts, at least for yours truly. I've got Gravenberch, and I'm not gonna say I regret, but maybe it should have been at least an honorable mention when I made the video talking about center mids, meta, no price points, no rating restrictions, no types of criteria. He could have maybe inched into that, and that says a lot to back up how qualified Gravenberch actually is, competing against the 90 overall players, or the guys that will cost you arm, leg, fingers, toes, ears, eyes, everything you got. You got to make some sort of dirty trade to bring it together. But I rate Gravenberch, if that's not clear. He's versatile. He's unorthodox. He's unique. These are all words that I love to attach to players. 6'3", 6'4", but has the skills, can step into space, can score a goal, can provide. It gives you the ability to mix it up while having depth and balance and a certain level of just being unpredictable. That's my top 10. Let me know which players did I leave off, because it gets very debatable when you're looking at Overpowered. That's why we use the comment section. We have the discussion. But as always, I have a lot more content coming out ASAP. We have been uploading daily. If you want to stay involved, be involved, hit the notification bell. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.